Okay, so my name is Coach Allen, and I've been running this channel for many, many years, and I've been coaching basketball since I was 14 years old. Now, I wasn't a head coach when I was 14 years old. I was teaching younger players at the YMCA, but I've built myself up to be a high school coach, a YouTube coach, but I've also been able to train a lot of players who have gone on even to the NBA. And I've seen a lot. I've currently coached a U12 basketball team, a U14, as well as a U15 team, junior high school and senior high school. And there's a few things that I see, and I really need to voice my opinion to be able to help younger players be able to succeed. And today we're going to be talking about playing time, being able to get on the court more so that you can score more points and potentially go on to bigger and better teams and going on to the next level. Now, in Canada, U12 and under for rep basketball, which is our version of AAU, is equal playing time. Now, in the summertime when we go to AAU season, we travel to the States, it's not even playing time. When we play U13 and up, there is no longer equal playing time. You have to fight for your position to become a better basketball player and to be able to get on to the court. Now, while a lot of teams, 99.9% of all rep teams, even when they get to that high school age, they still get everybody on the court. And I personally disagree with that wholeheartedly. If a player is not performing in practice, he should not be allowed on the court. Now, let's see what we can do to be able to get ourselves onto the court, because guess what? Basketball is not an equal opportunity sport. If you are a better shooter, you are obviously going to be taking a heck of a lot more shots in game. And while there may be players who get upset and say, well, it's not fair, well, you should be looking at yourself and saying, well, let's see how fair it really is. So instead of complaining, saying like a coach may have his favorites, that is true. 100% of the time, coaches have their favorites. Whether they say they don't have favorites or not, they do. Now, how can you get onto your coach's favorites list? Well, number one is you have to hustle in practice. If you hustle in practice, you're going to hustle in game. And you have to be honest with yourself. If you're saying you're hustling in practice, but you just did suicides and you were second last, you're not hustling. I don't care that you may be the slowest player on your team. What can you do to be that number one or number two player every suicide sprint? If you can get onto that court and be last place in practice, you're going to be last place in game. Which means that you're not going to be able to get back on defense, which means that your team's going to lose. If you're not first back on defense, guess what? You're going to find yourself on the bench. And that's just how it is in basketball. At competitive level basketball, if you want to get on the floor, you need to be able to run. Now, does this mean, like myself, I need to lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds? Potentially. That's always potentially the reason why you may not be able to get on the court. You may need to lose weight like myself. However, when you start looking at it and saying, okay, well, I'm skinny, maybe I need to work on some foot speed, maybe I need to work on some plyometrics to be able to jump higher and run faster, things like that can get you faster as well. Because I've seen some pretty skinny players be last place in sprints. I've also seen really well in shape players be last place in sprints as well, because they just didn't want to try. It's practice. I don't want to play in practice. I want to be in game. Well, guess what? That kind of attitude is going to then transfer into games, and you're going to say, this team is nothing. I'm not going to try that hard. We're going to win by 40 anyways, and then your team gets smacked. You need to have the right mindset, and that is number two. Going into practice saying, I am the best. Whether you're the best or not, I am the best. I am going to prove I am the best. I am going to prove to my coach that he needs to have me on the court, because if I'm proving to my coach that he needs me on the court, he's obviously going to put me on the court. Every coach wants to win. And then the fourth thing is I need to make my coach look dumb for benching me. That happens. If you're a really good player and your coach benches you for, let's say, 2 minutes, and they just got slammed by 10 points on a 10-0 run, he's probably going to stick you back on pretty darn quickly. So, those are some of the ways that you can get on the court more, just by practice alone. Now, some of the things that you can do yourself on the side, outside of team practices, to be able to get yourself in game as well. Well, number one is working out. Can you, on the side, work out? That doesn't necessarily mean you need to go out and buy $500 worth of weights to be able to get stronger. You may want to buy maybe a $30 or $40 membership to a local gym so that you can work out. Or maybe just do body weight exercises. Body weight is super easy to do. You don't need any extra equipment. And all you need to do is to potentially just do squats, squat jumps, lunges, lunge jumps, different types of exercises like that, sit-ups, planks, Supermans, things like that. That can help you get an advantage muscular-wise on your opponents, on your teammates, so that you can get into that starting lineup. A lot of players don't think of it the right way. They're not just competing against another team. They're competing against the players on their team to get that starting spot. Now, if I'm a point guard, which I eventually became a point guard, I was a center up until about grade 11 when I basically said, okay, I'm 6'2", I'm no longer growing, I'm no longer a center, I'm a guard. Well, guess what? That's a big transition, but some of the things that you can do is now say, okay, Bobby, Joey, whoever on the depth chart, those are the players in my position. What are they doing that I'm not doing? Why they're higher in the depth chart? Now, go to your coach. Say, what are some of the things that those players, 1, 2, 3 players, are doing better than me? And then, what are they not doing that you, the coach, want them to do? That way, you know, okay, they're better shooters than me. They're better ball handlers than me. And then the coach says, but I want them to play better defense. Well, guess what? Go out, take a ton of shots every day, work on your ball handling skills so that you can get up to their level, and then work on your defense. Because I can almost guarantee you a starter, while the coach may say, I need you to play better defense, he's probably going to look at the coach and say, I'm a starter, I'm going to work on the things that I'm already good on. Because that's what 99% of all players do. You want to be the 1%, you work on what the coach wants you to work on. And then you can say, Coach, what do I do that makes you mad? What pisses you off that I do? If he says, I don't like the way you pass, I want you to do simple passes, then you say, okay, I'm going to work on my shooting, I'm going to work on my ball handling because that's what those two guys do better than me. I'm then going to work on my defense because I want to do what the coach wants those guys to do, but they're not doing. And then I'm going to then work on just doing simple passes. Things like this can get you into the starting lineup pretty damn quickly. And that is how you can get more playing time in the new year. Obviously, you want to be able to be the best shooter on the team, best ball handler, best everything. But these are the tips that will help you get more playing time in the new year. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.